Okay, let's talk about survey stakes, highway survey stakes. This is a PowerPoint. We will slide through it. I want you to go back into your textbook of excavating and grading, and I think it's the like maybe even chapter 2, where it talks about survey stakes, highway survey stakes, and I want you to review that after watching this video, and see what you think. There'll be some questions over this. I'll see if I can't get through it and explain it. So we all know what a stake is. We all know what survey is, I'm assuming, and that's when you're going to prep a site and you're going to put a highway in. So you got to go in and you got to put, cut out for the subgrade, the slopes. And so on each side of that highway, there's going to be a stake on each side of the road, offset out of harm's way, so you don't run it when you're building the slope, the fill slope or the cut slope. And when you're cutting your road subgrade, crowning it and all that kind of stuff. So these stakes are set off to the side, and they usually would be called the surveyor stake or the information stake. And actually, I'm not sure what we're going to run into here, but the single line, double line, we'll get into that a little bit, maybe a lot, but probably this first PowerPoint will stay with, well, we'll just see. I'll explain it as we go. But picture that. And what you're going to see is half of a road from the, say, the left survey stake, I would, the way we're going to be looking at it, out to the center line of the road. And it's going to tell you every cut, every fill, and every linear distance that you need to go. And it's all going to be on that survey stake. And we'll just start talking about that as we go through this. I'm assuming that I'll scroll for these. No, that's not. Okay. Where did it go? Don't do that. Okay, survey stakes. I don't know what I'm clicking. Okay, here's let me look at my other screen. Excavations begin with a survey of the site or area. Survey crew sets the stakes and hubs, establishing points from which excavations and distance are measured. For you folks that's been through Intro to Grades 101, some of this may be familiar to you, hopefully. But, and you may have had this, seen it before, because I use it in other excavation classes and I use it in both grades 101. So this may be doubling up on it, and that won't hurt us. But so these stakes are usually cut, fill, or slope stakes. And if you go to page 7, they're talking about in the excavating and grading handbook, and it says go to figure 1.1 on page 7. Now, I'm not going to do that, but you're welcome to do it, because what I'm going to do is, let's see, what am I doing here? Well, I'm not getting anywhere here. Oh, gee, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, so here we go. Where's the PowerPoint? Did it load? Seriously? There you go. There you are. Now the question is, can you see this thing? That's not what I wanted to do. Let's try it one more time. Now we're getting somewhere. I wanted to do this in 5 minutes. We're out of luck, aren't we? Okay. So now you should be able to read it better. So again, the same thing I just said, to go to page 7 if you want, if you have time, but not right now. So let's look here. What we're looking at right here is a stake, and it is the surveyor information stake. And this is what's on that stake. And I'll get to that momentarily. Up here on this side of the diagonal is your cut or your fill. On this side of the diagonal is how far away you are from wherever your reference stake is. Speaking of the reference stake and what's called the grade setter stake, here it is, RS. Now, where the surveyor set this, okay? Where do you set this? Because this one is the one you're going to take your dimensions from. This one is like a roadmap or a plan where to put this and where all this, how to do all of these cuts to reach the ditch back to the hinge point and the edge of the pavement and all the way to the center line. All of that stuff is on here. So the first thing we need to do is when we look at the surveyor stake, here it is right here, it's telling you to set your reference stake, RS, cut 1 foot at 5 feet. So what does that mean? We want to set this stake and 1 foot lower than the surveyor stake and 5 foot away from it. To repeat that, this is the information that's on the surveyor stake. The first thing it's going to tell you is what to do to get to where to set your reference stake. Go down or cut 1 foot from me and then go out 5 feet. And so if the elevation of the surveyor hub, and it will be given, is let's say 1,200 feet, then you're going to go out here and set yours 1 foot lower than 1,200 feet, which would be what, 1,288 feet elevation above sea level. Anyway, it's going to be 1 foot lower than your information stake. Now look at this right here. This double line is literally means and then. So it tells you to set your reference stake 1 foot lower than your information stake or your surveyor stake or this stake and 5 foot away from it. And then you want to make your ditch. And this is telling you how to do it. This is the ditch. It's telling you to cut 8 foot and to go out 24 foot. So you're going 8 foot down, and then you're going to go out 24 feet. Following so far, you're going to go down, not literally here, but you're going to go down and you're going to set a stake here. And it's here would be your existing grade, so there'll be a stake right here for the ditch, and that's what it'll say. And it'll say cut whatever it takes to equal this. You know, the existing grade's going to be different. So what we're after is what we decided for this is 1,200 and what did I say? 98 feet, whatever it is, to be 1 foot lower than whatever elevation the surveyor stake is at. So if the surveyor stake is 1,200 and we want to go out 5 feet and down 1 foot to set this reference stake, the elevation of the reference stake is going to be 1,299 because it said to cut 1 foot lower than the information and go out 5 feet. So then you'll know that elevation. All right. Now, the hinge point, that's the elevation of the ditch, which would be from here. If this is 12, I keep forgetting, 99, then this right here would be 8 foot lower than that. And I'm not going to calculate that every time. I'm just wanting you to understand that you're not really going down and cutting out all of this. What you're doing is building a slope that has a vertical dimension of 8 foot, and it has a horizontal dimension of 24 feet. So if you're familiar with slope staking, which some of you perhaps are, you would take the vertical dimension, the horizontal dimension of, where are we? Uh, 8 feet. The vertical dimension of 8 feet and the horizontal dimension. Let me point to this so you know where this is coming from. So to get to the cut, this is the ditch. Sorry, guys, I was on the hinge point. To get to the ditch, I go down 10 feet and out 20. 10 and out 20. So what is that slope? Well, to find what the slope is, given the vertical and the horizontal, you take the horizontal and divide it by the vertical. Horizontal 20 divided by vertical 10, that's a 2-to-1 slope, guys and gals. You got it? Okay. Now, there's no and then after we find that ditch, right? It's a single line. Okay? So we got to the ditch. Now, to get to the hinge point, we're going to go from the reference stake 8 foot down, and we're going to go 24 feet out to get to the, I'm sorry, I really am. Let's back up a little bit. We determined this is a 2 foot because of the horizontal distance divided by the vertical distance give you 2-to-1. And we know where this ditch is. Now, let's take a look at the cut for the ditch. It's 10 foot. The cut for the hinge point, this guy, is 8 feet. That means you're going down 8 feet instead of 10 feet here. I would say raise your hand if you're lost, but just we're like plotting a graph. We're not really cutting things right now. We're getting it so we can put a stake and tell you where this stitch line is going to be from the existing grade. But we got to determine these. So let's look back at the ditch. Go over the ditch again from the reference stake. Everything's coming from the reference stake now. Cut 10 feet at 20 feet. So we go, this is for the ditch. 10 feet at 20 feet makes that a 2-to-1 slope. Now for the hinge point, we'll go from the same place. The hinge point will go down 8 feet, which is 2 feet shallower, if you will. So that's going to make your hinge point 2 feet higher than the flow line of your ditch. Now look back up here. Hinge point 8, 2 feet lower at 24 feet. So we go out here. First of all, we're going to go down 8 foot, and we're going to go out 24 feet. So instead of 20 feet, so that means from here to here is 4 feet. Let me say it again. We went down 8 and out 24. Here, we only went out 20 to get to this ditch. So from the ditch to the hinge point is an additional 24 feet, and that additional 4 feet came from the fact that we went out, where are we here? 20 feet for the ditch, but for the hinge points, we're going over 24 feet. So again, that's 4 feet. So we also said that this was 2 foot deeper. So that means the vertical is 2 feet and the horizontal is 4 feet. So guess what that slope is? It's a 2 to 1. 2 divided by 4 is 2. It's a 2 to 1. So this is a 2 to 1 slope. This is a 2 to 1 slope. Now look at this guy. Next, we got to get to the edge of the pavement. And believe it or not, this is going to be a bit of a slope, I think, just because the water runs from here off the side of the road. So let's go look at edge of pavement, EP, right here, cut 7 feet. Now, up here, it was cut 8 feet, right? I'm sorry, 7.9. So if I go down here and I'm saying cut 7.9, and this is my hinge point, it's 8 feet. So that's a 10th, isn't it? Yes, that's a 10th of a foot higher. And that means than this, because this was cut 8 feet and this is cut 7.9. So this edge of pavement is a 10th higher. Now, how far is this from here to here? Remember, it's a 10th higher. So the vertical is 0.1. Now, 0.1 feet. That's the vertical because it's a 10th higher. Now, let's go back here. Let's see what's going on here. 29 feet, right? Now, hinge point, edge of pavement's 29 feet out. Hinge point is 24 feet out, so that means this is 5 feet here, and this is a 10th higher, so your vertical's a 10th. So what is 5 divided by a 10th? Let's see. Wait. 10th of a foot, 0.1. No, it's 0.1, 0.1 divided by let me check my arithmetic. A 10th higher, and it's 5 feet further, so it's a 5 divided by the 0.1. That's the horizontal. 5. Let me clear it. 5 divided by 0.1 equals, no, I've got it backwards. 0.1 divided by 5 equals 0.02. So that's a 0.02% because I flipped it over to make it a percent. You see what I mean? I need a percent because we're dealing in a really low, gradual fall, a 10th of a foot. So when we do that, we want the slope's out of here. The slope's not good for these small falls here. So I took the 5 feet and divided it. I took, 5 feet and divided it by, then I divided by 0.1. Let me do it again to make sure. 0.1. No. I take the 0.1 and divided by 5. And that gives me 0.02. So that's what we're wanting, ladies and gentlemen. This needs to be a 2% fall. That is a typical crown on a highway. That's what we're looking for. And so far we're at 2%. But let's see what we are going from here to here. Going from the edge of pavement to the center line. Go back to the stake. Edge of pavement, 7.9. Center line, 7.5 cut. So between the center line cut and the edge of pavement cut, 7.9 and 7.5 is, what is that? Let's find out. 7.9 minus 7.5. I'm going to do it on the calculator. Well, 0.4. We could have went with that, but we're 0.4 higher than the edge of pavement. Now, what is this distance? 0.4. Let's write that down. If I can find a place. 0.4. That's our little rise in there. It's higher. Now, from the edge of pavement to the center line is 49 feet. To the center line, edge of pavement is 20, 29. So that's 20 feet, ladies and gentlemen, I think. 29 from 49 is 20. Okay, so this horizontal distance is 20, and we got 0.4 there. So let's, is it 0.4? Yes. Let's take that 0.4, divide that by 20, let's see. 0.4 divided by 2 equals, guess what? 4/10 divided by 20 is 0.02, which is 2%. So voila, we've made it. And from here to here, we ended up with what we wanted. We wanted a 2%. And this is a 2-to-1. And this is a 2-to-1. And do you see how I got these? Over here, you can think about these all being vertical distances. And the difference in the vertical distance, look, cut 10 feet, cut 8 feet, cut 7.9. Center line, cut 7.5. There's that 4/10, you know. And here's that 5/10 that we got a while ago. And folks, that's how you do it. You could call me on the phone, you know, go in the syllabus and you'll find my phone number. But, you know, there's it really goes through each one of them individually at a slower pace, but nothing is changing. Perhaps this illustration would help if I did this PowerPoint, but it's doing the same thing we just did. And if you want to go back through here and see if you can come up with the things you want to look for, are these falls of 2%, especially across here. And, you know, this should end up the same thing, because this information never changes. Look at the center line here is 49. There's 49. So it's just showing you PowerPoint by PowerPoint, step by step, just like we just did. Excuse me. Dry mouth. So again, look up my contact. Sorry. my video doesn't have a mute microphone, so I don't want to cough in your face. Like so. Anyway, I'm going to stop here, and you take a look at this again. And remember, honestly, call me. We'll pull this thing up and go over it individually if you want to. Uh, there'll be some questions about this on a test, I think. Slope staking specifically is coming up, and this will help you when we get there. It'll be going through step by step of what I did by using vertical and horizontal, and then changing to percent grade. That's when we'll cover that, knowing when to flip flop that from go from slope. It's different. Slope is horizontal over vertical, and percent grade is vertical over horizontal. If you want percent grade, that's of course your small number is going to be on the top divided by the bigger number, and that's always going to give you a decimal, and that's what we're looking for these percent grades. And with that, I'm going to sign off, and hopefully have this video stuck in module 2 under, I think it's click on, if you want to look at it again, click on the if you want to watch the video again, click on the title Survey Stakes video. Okay, thank you.